You suffered a terrible injury. I believe it was, from what I understand, diving. You're now in a wheelchair. It's been a long time ago that that happened. When it happened, I don't think you said this is the best day of my life, but now looking back from today, I've spoken to you and you said it's the hardest days of your life became one of the best days of your life. Share with our audience a little bit of that perspective, how you got there, so that we can learn a little bit about you and a little bit about what you do today.
Sure. Tragedy is never seen as good when it happens. Tragedy is always something that, in hindsight, is actually really good, but you have to recognize the good in it. Now, I was 15 years old when I broke my neck. I broke my neck by diving into the ocean, broke my neck into 36 pieces. Drowning was what they call clinically dead for 2.5 minutes. It never really phased me that hard because at 15 years old, you're going through multiple different life stages. And the next ones for me were going to be high school, then college, then your first job, and then your marriage. You're always going through process and mental programming changes, right? As you go through these life changes, life stages. For me, the wheelchair came along with it. So as I was making the adjustments, I was making the adjustments as a person in a chair versus later on in life when you have a routine, it's harder to change your routine, right? And then get used to something different. So dare I say I was fortunate to have it when I was 15 years old, my accident. But I say it was a good thing because I'm not just a wannabe funny 6'5" dude that is no different than anyone else. But I've got my chair that makes me different. But I want to clarify that a little bit more. It took me a few years and as I was giving these talks to realize, but everybody is different. Even though you've got, two people that look the same, whether they're two white guys, two black, two gay, disabled, it doesn't matter. Everybody brings something unique and different to the table, even though they don't look like it from the outside. So in the beginning, I thought of it as my weapon, right? My using it for good. And then I realized, well, everyone's got that. So it broadened it and made it even more impactful that we've got it. But for me, it wasn't the worst day. It was a day now that I realized has enabled me to do really amazing things.
Yeah, it's such a powerful context, and I think in previous conversations, I say with respect and courtesy and love in my heart, but you are a person that loves to joke and be whimsical and lighthearted about things. It's not like when it happened and you're 15 and you're not breathing or not alive for 2 minutes. Geez, I can really see if in the big picture that this is going to turn out to be an amazing thing for me. I mean, it was part of a process, but where you've taken it forward, and something that really resonates with me is that you've said, and correct me if the quote is wrong, we all have a version of our own wheelchair.
Indeed.
Talk to us a little bit, like expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So I do think that everyone's got a wheelchair. And what I mean by that is whether you have Tourette's, PTSD, you have depression, you lost a child, you had a really bad upbringing, whatever it is, we all have that one thing that we believe holds us back. And I say believe holds us back because if you use it for good, it actually doesn't hold you back. But it's very easy to look at somebody in a wheelchair and go, I understand their struggle, or they have a struggle. I got to tell you, I'd rather be in a wheelchair than have depression. Because depression, if you're having a bad day and you're not being friendly to people, not because you don't want to be, but because that's what your depression does, you can't say over and over again, I'm sorry I'm having a bad day, I have depression. I'm sorry I'm having a bad day, I have depression. I'm sorry that's not a thing, right? You can't do that. So therefore, people are judging you, right? If you have Tourette's, most people don't really understand what Tourette's is. Now you're just screaming curses and you're clicking and all that. And people think you're nuts, right? You lost a partner, devastating in your life. No one can see that on you, right? But we all harbor that. And some people actually don't even know what their thing is, what their wheelchair is. And that's okay too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but that to me is a profound thought because if we all understand that we're coming at life with something that we believe holds us back, no matter how perfect the life looks, everybody's got something, and that's their wheelchair.
I have a phrase, it's somehow connected to this, you being the smarter of the two people here, help me land the plane. You never know who you're talking to. One other way of saying it is you don't know what people are going through. but I always say that there's a whole world over there, and sometimes, a family looks picture perfect, the photo of the family on the beach, or whatever they're doing, the perfect pose, but you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So even though they're not literally physically in a wheelchair, we all metaphorically have that. And that is a perspective that, you being in a wheelchair, it gives you more runway, if you will, a little bit more room in the pit stop to speak to that powerfully. But
But I
I
would
wanted I wanted
I'd like to interject though, because
yeah, go ahead.
I think our society has painted disabled people as these destitute humans that can't ever accomplish anything, right? And that we are to be locked up and locked away, and they should feel sorry for me and all that. Like, I live an amazing life. I'm so fortunate every day of the woman that I'm married to, the place that I live, the things I get to do. I can't walk up steps. Okay, right?
Right.
That's fine. There's my limitation. Maybe a couple things here and there, but that's my limitation. If you have depression, you can't get up in the morning. That's way worse than what I've got all day
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
right? So it's funny when I talk to people and they're like, you've been through such a big thing. I'm like, yeah, it was a big day, right? And it was a couple months of rehab getting out of that. Yes. But boy, am I okay with that versus what other people have. So it's not as horrible as people want to believe or the way society paints us.